Hey guys, let's have a look at some interesting insights into the exquisitely enchanting and the merryful masterpiece of Home Alone that completed its 35 years in 2025. Home Alone stars Macaulay Culkin in the iconic and troublemaking, yet an incredibly adorable character of Kevin McCallister when his unconscious bent towards stubbornness and innocence leads him into a spot of ridicule and isolation. Now, the film opens up with that sumptuous score of John Williams, wherein those outstandingly orchestrated threads unravel and sheathe themselves on this terrific tale of a light-hearted family drama, wherein the standout layers of the moon unveils and uncovers itself from the spacious and heavily surrounded shadow of a limitless night sky, wherein that artistic and a commendably compiled animation complements the craftiness and charisma of one of Williams's crowning jewels. As the film moves on from the introductory initials of its laid out credentials, the focus and light moves on to the hustle and liveliness of the McCallister Manor as the brightened energy and the festive rush seems to fill the vibrant vibe of this humongous house as an out-of-place seeming officer attempts to be toiling in drawing the required attention towards him. As an adequately and formally dressed character seems to be engaged in a transpiring conversation through a wily and widespread network of the telephone, Kevin intrudes and breaks the rhythm of a conversation as he presents his mom with a somewhat understandable and a completely in control, yet a helpless tantrum when his curious question only draws a blunt response from his mother. As the reel rolls and lenses out a calmingly quoted question by Mrs. McCallister's other half when he makes a polite probing that is made in aid to his preparatory mode as he seems to be adhering and catering to the needs of his holiday requirement. As Kevin's tiring and tasteless mischiefs makes his old man dump him from the comfortable radii of their room, his relative aunt asks and presents him with an unfaceable statement that leaves him in a state of utter disbelief and an inexplicable trance. As the undoubtable vulnerability and an undebatable helplessness of the central character is plated out in plain sight, the character in question here tries to address and reason out his embarrassing affair when he's just tackled and dodged out with an insensitive and an uncaring fling, wherein the protagonist here is just left out on a pitiful and a sidelined state of a frustrating rage and a hilarious frenziness. Now, the film, even after so many years of its release, continues to be a cultural phenomenon and a holiday staple when it remains one of my go-to consolatory in the face of a dejected gloom and a search for a rejuvenated inspiration. The film that was directed by Chris Columbus and written by John Hughes, wherein the plot of the film follows an 8-year-old Kevin McCallister as he defends his home from burglars after being accidentally left behind by his family. The idea of the film was born from screenwriter John Hughes' personal traveler's anxiety while preparing for a 1989 family trip to Europe. He wrote the first draft of the script in just 9 days. Chris Columbus was hired to helm the project after he walked off National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation due to a personality clash with star Chevy Chase. Originally, the film that was a Warner Brothers project was shut down over a budget dispute and was clandestinely picked up by 20th Century Fox. The film also saw us witnessing a cameo by John Candy when Candy filmed all his scenes as Gus Polanski in a single 23-hour day. He was paid only $414 as a favor to Hughes, and almost all his dialogue was improvised. Macaulay's younger brother Kieran Culkin made his screen debut in the film as Kevin's bedwetting cousin Fuller when he quite masterfully brought to life the clumsy and the scattered shades of his character. The picture of Buzz's girlfriend that draws out a negatively exclaimed woof from Kevin was actually a boy in a wig, as Columbus felt it would be too cruel to mock a real teenage girl. The famous image of Kevin screaming with his hands on his face that became an evergreen emblem of this film was a fluke. Culkin was supposed to clap his hands and move them away before screaming, but he kept them on his cheeks. The crew found it so funny they kept it. In order to make Kevin's face genuine, Joe Pesci deliberately avoided interacting with Macaulay Culkin on set to remain intimidating. The gangster film Kevin watches within the comforts and solace of his home, and the one that goes by the name of Angels with Filthy Souls, is not real. It was stated specifically for the movie as a parody of the 1938 film Angels with Dirty Faces. Home Alone held the Guinness World Record for the quite well-deserved title of the highest-grossing live-action comedy for 27 years until it was eventually surpassed in 2017. The film is extremely popular in Poland, where it has aired every Christmas Eve since 1990. A 2010 attempt to drop it from the schedule led to a massive public protest, which highlights the film's enduring legacy and a remarkable status that it continues to uphold even after so many years of its release. Now, the film that was released in the United States on November 16, 1990 continues to be one of the unparalleled pillars in the extensive and vast library of the Christmas classics, with its beautifully brushed score, the potent performances by the film's cast, and most importantly of all, its delightful direction by Chris Columbus makes it one of the most celebrated cinematic ventures in the ever-growing volumes of the feel-good filmographies. The home that is within the plans of the burglars who roam. Hey guys, if you like my video, you can click on the like and share button, and you can also subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss upon these types of videos. Let's come together and celebrate the magic of movies.